Hey guys, EBPMAN here, and if you're considering the Sony 1000xm3s and also the Powerbeats Pro Wireless, you're going to want to watch this video because today we're going to do a comparison review to help you with your purchasing decision. Let's get right to it. Now, over the last several weeks, we have been reviewing and comparing the Sony wf-1000xm3 to the series of true wireless earbuds on the market, and Sony has crushed every single one of them. Today, we're going to do the comparison with the Powerbeats Pro Wireless, and we're going to see how well they stack up against these most comfortable earbuds that have fantastic battery life, but do they compare in audio? Let's get right to it.
Make sure you hit the subscribe button and tap the little bell icon to get notified when new videos become available.
So now first we'll take a look at the battery life, and we're going to take a look at the battery life in two different settings because these have a unique feature that are not available on the Powerbeats. First, the Sonys, are measured in two different. Now first we'll focus on the first thing we're going to talk about is the battery life. Now Sony's take a look at the battery life with two different settings. They look at active noise cancelling on and active noise cancelling off. Now make sure that you understand this. The Powerbeats do not have active noise cancelling. So you're going to be wanting to consider the number without the active noise cancelling. So let's first talk about the battery life. So with Sony's, those two settings, the first, you're basically going to get 6 hours of battery life if you're using these with active noise cancelling on. And very frankly, the Powerbeats crush it when it comes to that. However, when you turn off the active noise cancelling and you use them just like the Powerbeats are, it gets closer. You're going to get 8 hours of battery life out of these if you use them with active noise cancelling off. So how do they compare to the Powerbeats? Well, the Powerbeats here, they basically have 9 to 10 hours of battery life. They have really, really good battery life. So they are at least an hour to almost 2 hours better in battery life than the Sonys. Now, as we take a look at quick charging, both of these have quick charging. And if we take a look at the Sonys right here for a second, in 10 minutes, you're going to get 1.5 hours of battery life. So that means put them in, they die within 10 minutes, you're going to get an hour and a half. When you look at the Powerbeats, 5 minutes is going to give you 1.5 hours. So from a battery life and from a performance perspective, the Powerbeats really have the upper hand. And as we look at the cases now, so let's take a look at the cases. With the case, you're going to get, approximately about 15 hours more usage. So you're rounding about 24 to 25 hours of usage. Now the Sonys do have or come back a little bit more. So the Sony's going to get 24 to 32 hours. So when you think about the usage of case, independently, the Sonys have a inferior battery life, but just by a little bit. And definitely the Powerbeats beat them. However, when you consider the case kind of performance is on the Sony side. It outperforms it, giving you almost 32 hours of battery life. And that's really amazing because when you look at the case, look how big these cases are. You would expect the Powerbeats to have more juice and give you more battery life. Now, another thing about both of these earbuds is that they support independent usage, and this really changes the game for both. So with the Sonys, you can actually use the Sony independently. I can literally take one, put it in my ear, right, and just use this for 6 to 8 hours. And when this one is exhausted, I could just take it, put it back in the case, take the other one out, and put it in my ear. Well, what about the Beats? Well, the Beats do the same thing. The Beats, you can open them up, you can put one on, slide it in your ear, and you could use this one for 9 to 10 hours, and then you can once it's completely discharged, put it back in its case to charge, and then use the other one for another 9 to 10 hours. So the neat thing about both of these is that both of these support independent usage. They are going to give you double the battery life depending on how you use them. Now, taking a look at the cases also are really different. So as we look at the Beats first, it's a ginormous case. It's probably one of the largest cases of all the earbuds that we've looked at on the channel. It doesn't support true wireless charging, and it also doesn't have a standard USB-C charging port. It uses a proprietary Apple charger. Now, the case itself, as we open it, the earbuds themselves magnetically guide. So as I put it in and I let it go, they kind of slide into place, and they're not going to come out. If I close the door, it's not going to come out either. You'll notice that it has a single LED indicating the color, and as you open it, there is no LED indicating a charge on the earbuds at all. Now, as we take a look at the Sony is a little bit more refined. The case is smaller, and it is USB-C, so it's standards based, and it also supports NFC. So if we open it up, you'll notice that there's an NFC here. So you'll be able to use this to pair to another phone that is NFC capable. The actual earbuds themselves also are magnetically locked. So as I put it right here, it locks into place, and if I were to flip them over, they're not going to come out. If I close the door and flip it over, it's also not going to open. But if you were to ask me which of the two is more pocketable, which one is easier to carry in your pocket, jean pocket, or even if you're going to put it in a briefcase, I got to give it to the Sonys. The Sonys are more compact, easier to use, and you have great battery life with the case. So the next thing we'll talk about is the IP rating. So I see a lot of people using their earbuds, not just for commuting, but also working out. So the neat thing is when you think about the Powerbeats have an IPX rating of 4, which means they're going to be safe for working out. You can sweat. You cannot go in the pool with them, but you're going to be able to work out without any problems. Now, this is where it gets a little disappointing with Sony. Sony's don't have any IPX rating at all. So it could be concerning. It's kind of use at your own risk. So in this case, the Powerbeats have the Sony's one. Now next, let's talk about Bluetooth connectivity. Now from a Bluetooth perspective, both of these are Bluetooth 5.0. And both of these, I've had no syncing issues with either Hulu, with Netflix, with YouTube, streaming videos, no problems, regardless of the device I've been using. So no concerns there. From a range perspective, they've been doing really well too. So walking through the house, walking in highly congested Bluetooth 5.0 areas like in an airport or a downtown city, I have had no issues with them. At the gym, I've had no issues with them. Have not had any garbling or anything like that, depending on where I have my phone on me, or if I am at least 30 feet away, no issues with the Bluetooth signal. Now, the neat thing about these two is that both of these, so when we think about the Sonys, they do not have a slave and master model. So what that means is most earbuds, true wireless ones, when you put one in your ear, the right one is the master, and then when you take the left one and you put it in your ear, the left one is a slave. So the Bluetooth signal goes from here to here, and then this is how you use it. But both of these maintain a Bluetooth connection that's independent to your phone, and you actually hear it. As soon as you put it in your ear, you get a female voice that says Bluetooth connected, and then when you put the second one in, you get Bluetooth connected. That means that you're going to get better audio quality on these because of having that independent connection in the Bluetooth area. Now, that's going to be the same with the Powerbeats. So as we take a look at the Powerbeats, if you were to put the Powerbeats in your ear, you put one in, this one is going to connect, you're going to hear a sound, you don't get a female voice, right? And you don't get anything telling you what the battery level is. All you get is a doo-doo-doo, and you're basically connected. But each one of these also is maintaining the same type of connectivity. You don't have a slave and a master here. So these are equally, I would say, paired when it comes to the two. Each of them can report or actually activate independently, and they can be used independently from a Bluetooth perspective. Now next, let's talk about audio quality. And as we talk about audio quality, we're going to talk about the actual noise isolation. Not cancellation, but isolation. Now, one of the things I find is that they both do a decent job isolating the noise around you with the ear tips. So the ear tips, as we take a look at these, you'll notice that the ear tips are really nice. They're larger, they're silicone, and they're going to do a really nice job of sealing the noise, right, and music from escaping. As I compare that to these, if I take the Sonys out, and we'll do a side-by-side comparison, the Sonys also do a real nice job of isolating. So let's look at them both side-by-side compared so you can see it. Now, the difference is that the Sonys go a little bit deeper in your ear, so you can see how it goes a little bit further in, and the Sonys also have active noise canceling. So while both of them support passive noise canceling, the Sonys with the active noise canceling are going to give you a superior audio experience. Now as we put them side by side here so you can see the earbuds, you can see that the footprint for the Beats is a lot larger, but the Beats have a more secure fit. So as we talk about when they're in your ear, so let's go ahead and put these on so you can take a look at it. And then we'll go over kind of like the audio. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on. Take this other one out and put this one on as well. So take a look at this for a second. So the Powerbeats are going to give you the best secure fit. they're not going to fall out. You could do cartwheels, and these will not fall out. You can do handstands. They are not going to fall out. And that's because of this thing going all the way around here, right? Now, the one thing about this, and this is all going to depend on your ears. For some people, and this is what I've heard from friends that use these and extended, like super extended periods of time, I do get some pressure. They're not if we compare them to these, they're not as comfortable as the Sonys. And just because of how they get positioned with this. The one thing also about this from an audio perspective is that this one has the ability to increase and decrease the volume on the individual earpieces. You have to use the app with the Sonys. But this is what they look like from a profile. Right? They will not fall off. You can shake your head because of how the loop is. And like I said, you could literally stand on your head and these are not going to come out at all. So we'll put these back. And then what we'll do is we'll take out the Sony so you can look at what the Sonys look like. We'll close that. We'll open up this case. Put these in our ears. Now these, you get a little nice voice. So this voice is going to tell you the actual fact that the battery level is and Bluetooth connected. So it's not just an audible beep, but it's actually giving you more information. Now as I look at these I have one of the gel pieces that came with the Sony earbuds that is kind of like a mushy. It's not a Comply foam, but it's almost like the Comply foam. You'll notice how this looks from the left and how it looks from the right. And if I shake, they're not going to come out. But if I were to do cartwheels, or if I were to stand in my hands, or if I were to try to do a backflip with these will come out. And that's because it doesn't have the ear loops. So there's no ear loops around it. But for standard running, for working out, doing jumping jacks, they haven't fallen out of my ear. And I find that because of they're not getting pushed in like these do, I don't really have any issues with these being in for a very long time or for long flights. Now, again, passive noise activation or cancellation and also active noise cancellation are present because of how these work. This does not have a volume rocker, but it does have where you tap and you can go through hear through mode as well as other modes just by tapping. So these are pretty nice, and this is what they look like. Now, as we take a look at the music quality, these are the songs that I use that I have in my audio test list. And I have them here because what I like about these, and the list continues to get longer and longer as I test these out, is because they both have a combination of either starting with the music first or the vocals first and introducing instruments as you go through the song. And what I'll say is the Powerbeats do a really nice job when it comes to highs, mids, and lows. They're all present. You do get bass, and because of the isolation, they're better than the AirPods, hands down. Now, the Sonys have highs, mids, and lows as well, but what I'll have to say is that the soundstage, while both have a decent soundstage, the Sonys have a broader soundstage. Literally, when I wear these, it gives me the feeling that I'm listening to music, and that's pretty much it. It's very pleasant, highs, mids, and lows there, and you get bass, and the bass is punchy. But when you put on the Sonys, it's just at a total different level. You're getting almost like if you were in a studio. The listening experience is very different. So bass, mids, and highs are there, but the bass is thumping bass. It's much stronger. The other thing that I've noticed with the Powerbeats is that at times it doesn't sound as clear, especially when you start introducing bass. So, these are the songs that I have here, and I would encourage you to take a listen to some of these so you can see what I'm talking about, especially if you have Spotify or another app. And you'll see one of my favorite bass songs that I use for testing is Midnight Blues, just because of how the vocals start, some of the scratchiness that starts up front, and then as the bass comes in, I look to listen how clear things are. And what I find is that at times, things are not as clear with the beats. The beats don't stay as clear as I'd like them to be. So when it comes to audio, I'm going to give it to the Sony. Clear highs and mids, crispy clear, and also powerful bass that is really rattling, and it's not overpowering where it kind of deafens everything else. So if you're looking for the best audio, Sony's got it again. Now the next thing we'll talk about is additional capabilities. So first of all, things that the Powerbeats do not have. So the Powerbeats do not have any form of hear-through technology, so you can't hear the world around you. The Powerbeats also are very limited when it comes to the app. Sony has a much better app. It also has not only hear-through or ambient noise, it also has active noise canceling. So you're going to get more features if you were to go with the Sony. Now, one other feature that I wanted to mention is the auto pause features. Now, both of these support auto pause, so if you take it out of your ear and you put it down and you're listening to music, it's going to pause. They also support stereo calls. So if you're wearing the earbuds in your ears both, you're going to hear stereo sound. But both of them also support where you can use an independent earbud. So I can actually have one earbud in and have a phone call with the Sonys, and I can do the exact same thing with the Powerbeats. So I can use them independently, almost like an earbud, and I can switch on and off the earbuds as I use up all of the power in that specific earbud. So they're both equally matched in this area. Alright, so next we're going to do a call quality test using the Powerbeats Pro Wireless. Now we're in a noisy environment, and you can see that our decibels are anywhere from an average of 40 decibels all the way up to 73 as the max.
Now, this is what the call quality would sound like if you had a phone call with someone using the Powerbeats Wireless. This is what the calls would sound like. This is a test. 1, 2, 3, this is a test. What do you think about the call quality in the comment area below?
So now we're going to do a call quality test using the Sony's 1000xm3s in a semi-noisy environment. You can see that the decibel reading is the same, average of 48, as high as 73.
Now, this is what the call quality would sound like when making a phone call on the Sony 1000xm3s. This is a test. 1, 2, 3, this is a test. Let me know what you thought of the call quality in the comment area below.
So that concludes my comparison review between the Sony's wf-1000xm3s and the Powerbeats Pro Wireless. Which one would you choose as your true wireless earbuds? I have to say that Sony are still my pick when it comes to true wireless earbuds because of the audio quality, active noise canceling, excellent battery life, and also it has a more compact case too. Which one did you prefer? Let me know in the comment area below.